Tonight's first alum being recognized is not new to anyone here probably in the audience because he's been so involved in everything, and he should be retired. That's Del Cochran. Del is from the class of 1961. It's also the class of my lovely wife, Linda Morris Chase, 1961. I distinctly remember, I don't want to say anything out of school, Del, but just give me a minute if you would. Remember that at your class reunion, your 50th last year, at the Friday night game, I couldn't help but think as I was sipping wine, all the ladies, the females that were in the tent and saying, boy, you know, Del was such a popular, nice, good-looking, athletic guy, and he still is. But I want to tell you that 3 out of 4 still ain't bad. All right, Del? I'm just kidding. Here's Del's video.
Adrian Public Schools played a major role in molding the life of Del Cochran, starting on the day he walked into Jefferson School in 1948 for his first day of kindergarten, until he graduated from Adrian High School in 1961. Little did he realize the impact he would make on the district and the lives of thousands of students and employees he would interact with over the next 60-some years. He was raised with strong family values, which he adheres to with his family, and which he has promoted throughout his educational career and community involvement. Del has been an Adrian Public Schools student, parent, teacher, principal, coach, board member, super volunteer, and superintendent. In fact, he was the first Adrian High School alum to ever serve as the district's superintendent. He is an Adrian Maple through and through. He has been a student, teacher, or principal at almost every school building in the district. As a student, he enjoyed playing a variety of sports. As an adult, he coached football, basketball, softball, and track at Adrian Public Schools, YMCA, and Little League. Del has been the voice of Adrian High School football for the last 40 years from his perch in the press box at Maple Stadium. In 4 short years while serving as superintendent, Del changed the face of Adrian Public Schools. Under his leadership, the community passed a successful $50 million bond issue. The district consolidated the elementaries from 7 to 4 schools. The middle school program was reorganized into 5, 6, and 7, 8 buildings. The district's attendance boundaries were changed. Over $5 million of reductions were made, and there were different administrators in almost every school. These changes occurred with minimum disruption and controversy. As president of the county superintendents, he kept them focused on collaboration and communication issues to strengthen the educational opportunities for the county's students. Community service has been the backbone of Del's lifestyle. Beyond APS, he has served with the YMCA, Associated Charities, Boys and Girls Club, Lenawee Chamber, Adrian Area Chamber, Kiwanis, and Meals on Wheels, to mention but a few. He currently serves as president of the Adrian Schools Educational Foundation. As a building principal, he always had his students and staff involved in doing community service projects. He believes a strong school district is an asset to the community and should be an interactive partner with local businesses and institutions of higher learning. Del is known as Mr. Adrian, which includes not only the school district, but the community as well. The name of Lyndall Del Cochran is synonymous with change and pride in the Adrian community. His significant and lasting contributions to the people, communities, and organizations in Lenawee County make him most deserving to be called an Adrian High School Outstanding Alumnus. Del resides in Adrian with his wife Nancy and is the father of 3 Adrian grads, J.R. Hayden, Lynn Cochran Sager, and Kristen Cochran.
Del, I'm really surprised that video didn't run another half an hour longer, but come on up and get your award that you so richly deserve.
Thanks, Chuck. And good evening. Before I stand here, honored and humbled. Honored to represent the Adrian Public Schools. Humbled because there's hundreds of former Maples worthy of outstanding recognition and hopefully over time they will be through programs like this. I want to congratulate those being recognized tonight, well-deserved awards. I'm especially pleased that who was my good friend Jack Dawson is being recognized as well. And quite frankly, I'm surprised to be recognized, but probably no more surprised than my teachers and classmates from 1961 would be if they were here. I consider myself an extremely fortunate person with great timing. I was fortunate that my parents, W.C. and Lily Mae, moved to Adrian in 1946 from rural Alabama after World War II as part of the Great Southern Migration, settling in Deerfield Park, or as Deerfield Park was better known, the Projects. But no matter where you lived in the 1950s in Adrian, it was a great place to grow up in, and it was a great place to go to school. I had great friends, and I had great classmates. I was fortunate that my parents, while they only completed 7th and 8th grades, valued education and expected that my sisters, Pat and Cheryl, and I graduate, not just from high school, but college as well. I graduated from Central Michigan. My two sisters must not have been able to get into Central because they went to State. So, sorry, I couldn't resist that. I was fortunate that Yvonne Graybiel took a chance and hired me in 1967. I was supposed to start work on a Thursday, the third Monday, but the preceding Thursday, a huge snowstorm just blanketed the state of Michigan, and I was living on Saginaw Bay in Bay City with several fraternity brothers. We couldn't get out. Instant alert, cell phones were non-existent. I was so afraid not to report to work, I put my suitcase on a sled, pulled it across frozen Saginaw Bay, hitchhiked to Adrian, and school was closed for a week. But I was fortunate to be in a profession that I truly enjoyed and felt that I could make an impact. I was also fortunate to be living in a place that I loved, that accepted and supported me. While I wasn't initially keen on coming back to my hometown, Adrian and the Adrian Public Schools couldn't have been a better place for me. I was fortunate that Jerry Gavilio and Bob Hayden hired me as assistant principal at Adrian Junior High School. Starting my administrative career, I was principal at Prairie, McKinley Comstock, director of student services, back to Draeger as principal, and I worked for the ISD also in education. And then I was superintendent for 4.5 years. And I worked with some outstanding staff and administrators during that time. I was fortunate that Jim Keller asked me if I would announce Maple football games. I told him I'd finish out the season, but I soon learned that when you announce Maple football games, it's a dry, warm seat and all the donuts you can eat. That's a tough gig to give up. After 32 years in education, I wanted to do something else, so I retired. I went to work for Dura Convertible Systems and Human Resources as their global training manager. This gave me an opportunity to travel extensively in Mexico and the U.S. I was also the first community corrections coordinator in Lenawee County. If you're afraid of them, you put them in jail. If you're just mad at them, you send them to me. During this time, I ran for the school board because there was a 2-year term open and they were looking for a new superintendent. I thought I could help a new superintendent out for a year, become a lame duck for a year, and then go into retirement having fulfilled my civic responsibilities. But there was a failed superintendent search before I was elected to the school board with an interim superintendent hired. APS, because it had a couple of issues with prior superintendents, was looking for somebody that they knew and trusted to lead them as superintendent. Well, I figured they knew me. 1 out of 2 is not bad. But I think they did trust me. So I applied, and I was appointed superintendent. I was fortunate to have talented and respected leaders like Jim Kapnick, Scott Klim, Carl Holmes, and Lee Salazar waiting in the wings to help organize and lead the bond issue, as well as oversee the renovations. The bond issue passed overwhelmingly. Those 4 individuals are true hometown heroes. We were able to renovate our facilities, even though we had to change traditional elementary boundary lines, close 2 elementary schools, McKinley and Garfield, as well as reconfigure the middle school. Any one of these is usually the kiss of death for a superintendent, but the community supported us in every step and every decision. Professionally, I want to thank 2 very special groups. First, my assistant principals, Ernie Bird, Mike Perez, and Matt Swartz, good friends who supported me. And administrative assistants. You can find superintendent and principals, but you can't find administrative assistants. These people are worth their weight in gold. They were very special people and supported and saved me on a daily basis. I especially want to thank Linda Pate, Luana Bixler, and Kelly Anger. I cannot thank them enough. Special people. And personally, I want to thank my family, my wife Nancy, my kids JR, Lynn, and Kristen for their support. Especially Lynn and Kristen for stuffing envelopes for a decade at Drager Middle School. And all those mundane things that nobody wants to do that principals' kids get to do. When I walk through our schools and see the changes and improvements, I'm very, very proud to have served as superintendent of the Adrian Public Schools. Finally, I want to thank the students, parents, and staff that I have worked with over the years for letting me be part of their lives. Thank you, and go Maples.
Congratulations, Del. Thanks very much.